Hey everyone, we're back, and this is something that's really cool. Look, we have all talked about spoilers before. Me, Eric Holmes, and Bruce Perky. There is a Sidney Lumet spoiler that I still haven't actually uploaded onto our Cinematics Find Your Film site, which hopefully Night Falls on Manhattan. We love that movie. If I recall, Bruce, you liked Night Falls on Manhattan. You didn't love it. You liked it, right?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I liked it, but I didn't love it.
You liked it, and I think Eric Holmes, if I recall, loved Night Falls on Manhattan, and
Yes.
we're going to talk about. I think I found it recently. We have reviews and spoiler stuff on Night Falls on Manhattan and the his classic, the Lumet classic, The Pawnbroker. So I'll be uploading that on our channel very very shortly. And there's so many stuff I need to upload on our Cinematics and Find Your Film YouTube channel. One of the things we're going to do is we're going to talk about spoilers, and one of the spoilers that we're going to talk about right now for the purposes of this recording is the 2022 film Gold. And the premise of Gold, if you're watching this, we're assuming you've already seen the movie. It centers on two men. Man one is played by Zac Efron. Man two is played by Anthony Hayes. Anthony Hayes is the director and co-writer of Gold. Man one, aka Zac Efron, he's actually staying in the middle of this Australian desert. It's very bad conditions, sandstorms everywhere, there's scorpions, and he is holding on to, again, Eric Holmes, you corrected me, he's not trying to protect a gold nugget, he's trying to protect some kind of gold mountain, this whole boulder of gold. And hopefully Man one, again by Zac Efron, and Man two, Anthony Hayes, will be rich once they excavate the gold. And Man 2 decides to actually go away with the truck and bring back an excavation truck to excavate the aforementioned gold boulder. And most of Gold deals with Man 1, aka Zac Efron, dealing with the elements and trying to survive to the next day while he's trying to protect the gold. It is a survivalist thriller. And that's it. Well, that's all we're going to talk about, the plot summary. And you can check out our podcast for our review of Gold. Now, we're talking about spoilers now. There's also a woman named Susie Porter. She plays the stranger and the stranger's sister. So now and that's the other element who is in Gold. I'm going to start off with you first, Eric Holmes. The ending of the film, the spoilers. Did the movie wrap up exactly how you wanted it to be?
I don't know how I wanted it to be. It was pretty grisly. I mean, Zac Efron getting torn to shit by all those dingoes was pretty nuts. And then the guy too, my main number two. So was he just sitting there the entire time?
Yeah,
just waiting for him to die.
Yeah.
I'm guessing because it seemed like he took like a really long time to get there. So I'm guessing got the excavator, came back, and was like, I'm just gonna wait for him to die and then take the gold for myself. Which, well, first of all, one of the questions I had, I probably should have brought this up in the review. What does one need gold for in a post-apocalyptic world?
That's true. Well, I mean, again, it's one of these things that starts out with Man one wanting to be taken to this mining camp, right? And that's his big dream. That's like anyone going to La La Land or Paris or something. That's his version of paradise. So I guess paradise now in Gold is specifically gold. That is the mode of currency, or like you like to say, the mode of cryptocurrency, Eric Holmes. Just kidding on that. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie. Man 2 sees him from the distance.
I think it was a good enough twist, not too much to it, but it's kind of goes along the lines of the rest of the movie. The rest of the movie's leaning, let's have a little fun thing. Oh, he was there the whole time, just waiting for him to die. And then the sister kills him, presumably. Yeah. I'm guessing it was the sister that killed him, because they don't really show, but the arrow comes from off screen, hits him in the heart. It was a good little twist for as simple as the movie was.
So the end has Man one. He's getting eaten by dingoes, wild dogs, and around him there's a circle of just rocks or branches, and there's a sort of a circle of I guess fire around him a little bit, and you see him just it's a kind of an eating ceremony with the dogs eating away at Man one's body. Off into the distance is Man two, just looking away, I think with binoculars, just waiting, like Eric Holmes is saying, waiting for Man one to officially expire. When he does, when Man one dies, Man two goes out with his truck, ready to excavate. As soon as he gets out of the truck, like Eric Holmes off the screen says, off screen, there is an arrow that hits him right through the heart, and he's immediately dead, and it cuts to black, and it cuts to the credits. We assume it is the stranger's sister, played by Susie Porter. Susie Porter plays both roles as a stranger and the stranger's sister. Obviously, the arrow through the heart is a sign of retribution because, well, first of all, she's the one who actually put Man one in that circle, and eventually she knew that he was going to get killed. That's in revenge for Man one killing her own sister, the stranger. So that was really cool. Bruce, did you like the ending? It just ended that way. Did you want something more elaborate regarding gold?
No, I think that was it was smart narratively, because if you think about it, the other option is the guy shows up and then it becomes this big battle between them, or they have to fight somebody else off. You could see it being like the standard, like, what is it, a good, bad, the ugly, showdown, three-way showdown or something. And I think this was a little more fitting to the kind of the ruthless sort of Mad Maxian world they're living in, that this guy would somehow turn on him in that way. I think that made sense. I also do want to highlight, I really, really liked, and I didn't talk about it in the main review, I really, really liked the stranger's first interaction with Man One, and how that played out, how she wasn't dumb and how he's trying to like lead her astray, but he's also kind of addled because he's so messed up, he's been out there so long, and how she's just following him and asking him questions, and almost like a fly buzzing around him, like, driving him almost mad. And I thought that was done really well, and I like the kind of bleakness and simplicity of the ending. I think it worked really well.
You and I, Bruce, we gave it 3.5. Eric gave it 4 stars. This is why I think it's a strong 3.5. Anthony Hayes, the director, he could have gone for this elaborate ending. Man One, right, he has such an interesting story. You're wondering, Man One wants to get to the camp at the beginning. He has a puppy dog look about him because he's Zac Efron. He must have an interesting backstory. Maybe he came from a past that's haunted. Maybe there's a reason why he wants the gold. Maybe there's a reason why he's out there alone. But none of those bleeping questions are answered. And you're thinking maybe there might be some kind of backstory because Zac Efron is close to an A-list actor. It might be one of these sort of vanity projects. And it's not. It's just Zac Efron happens to play Man One, and Man One just happens to be a guy, simply put, who dies in the desert due to his greed, or like Eric was saying, maybe some of his incompetence, and maybe because of that violent moment as well.
There's also that bit at the beginning where they're on the train and he's eating and he sees the kid and then just gives the rest to the mom and the kid. So like Zac Efron's character, he's not a greedy person. And so like the idea that he's the one that dies watching the gold, and he's not really doing it for greed, because I'm guessing that if we're up to him, it's like, oh, you got gold there? Yeah, you want some? There's like literally a mountain of it. We can share it. But the other guy's not allowing that to happen. Now that I think of it, it's even more tragic that he dies the way he does, because he was just doing that as a favor to his buddy. Because what we see of him at the beginning, he's not a greedy person, but he still died in the same way that a greedy person in a movie like this normally would.
That's a good read. Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
Well, I'd say he almost dies from, he's almost too trusting and foolish, and kind of like the very beginning where he's talking about going to the place and the guy's kind of like, well, you think it's going to be something and it's not going to be what you think it is. It's almost playing off the idea that his character throughout is not tough enough, or in some ways, conniving and selfish enough for this world. And in fact, if you think about it, the very first time he finds the gold, he's out there peeing in the desert and he sees the gold, he finds it. He could be like, I'm going to find a way to secretly mark this and come back and get it later. He doesn't know how big that piece is at that point. He immediately calls the other guy over and says like, hey, dude, come over, look at this. It's gold. So from the outset, he's trusting and like not selfish, like you said, from the very beginning.
Now that I'm thinking of it, this movie did get a little deeper than I thought. The whole point is no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah, pretty much.
That seems to be the whole theme of the movie.
Yep.
Wow, I had a different read. I thought he was greedy, but maybe I was wrong on that read, because the reason when he kills the stranger, he just kills the stranger because that was a volatile moment. He just lost his cool. Yeah. Bruce, or Eric, what do you think on that?
Oh, he was being dehydrated, so right away his brain's not working properly, and he's doing what the other guy told him to.
Yeah, he's like being honorable.
For one, it's like, I'm here to watch the gold. That's my job. You're fucking up my job. I'm trying to get you to go away so I don't have to do something I don't want to do. And she kept pushing. And he's like, no, here, there's shelter. There's whatever the fuck you need. Just do not come over here. And she came over, and then she kept pushing. And he's like, this is what we got to do, man.
Wow. Great read. Okay.
I mean, certainly not the most honorable thing, but I mean, yeah, in that moment, he did everything that he could to get her away, and she just wasn't having any of it.
He was trying to survive. He was trying to survive.
She just got too nosy and ended up killing her.
Wow. What do you think, Bruce? You agree with that read as well, as far as?
I do. And I think that, because I think about it all the way. Also, the other thing is, the other guy was originally going to stay behind and send him to get the tractor, because he said like, well, you're not up for the job here. So he's almost also taking it on as this, he's like taking on this responsibility almost naively, in the sense like, I've got to, like, you know, almost like a military guy taking a post. Like, I have to hold this hill. I you know, on my honor, I said I would do it. I'm going to do it for my you know, partner in this war to get this gold. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to make it through the end, and he's going to prove that he was good for the task, which of course he's not. So yeah, I think
yeah, you see the way he does the survival stuff. I mean, it's clear that he does everything wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to pull it out and then I'm going to light a fire. No, light that first, heat the thing up, like get the thing you're going to cauterize, get that good and hot before.
Were any of you guys
kicks over his water, all that stuff? Yeah.
Were any of you guys surprised that Man 1 died at the end of the movie? Did you think that was going to happen, or did you think there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel?
I had no idea. This is one of those type of movies that could have went either way. He could have died, he could have lived. You know, I had no idea.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like the kind of movie that's going to end well, because it's like, to the degree of tropiness, hey, we've got this gold and we've got to find a way to get it so we can be rich, that almost always ends with the characters killing each other, getting killed and having their gold taken. Something goes wrong usually in those situations. So I figured something would go wrong, but not exactly the way it played out. So
okay, so finally, I thought Zac Efron as Man 1 was greedy. But this is interesting. I got a different read from Eric Holmes and Bruce Perky. And both of you guys are saying, no, this is a story about greed, but one of the partners was not greedy. Am I correct on this assessment?
That's kind of what I got.
Yeah. I think he was honorable in that once he made the deal with the guy, it was theirs. He wasn't going to give it to somebody else.
Okay. That is it. That is our spoiler version of Gold. Tell us what you think. Do you think Man 1 was greedy? Are you sad that Man 1 died? Are you sad that Zac Efron got eaten by a bunch of rabid dogs, or like dingoes, or whatever you call them, wild dogs? Animals ate him. It ate Zac Efron up. Are you sad about that? Yes, Eric.
Did he click on this accidentally? We just spoiled the whole movie for you.
or did you click accidentally? And do you hate me, Eric Holmes, and Bruce Perky all at once, and you'll never listen to our on Find Your Film or Cinematics ever again? For that, we are sorry. For that, we are very, very sorry. Tell us what you think of Gold. Did this movie work for you? Did you want a different ending? Did you want a little bit more bells and whistles behind this movie? Bruce Perky, again, one final moment thing about Gold. Worth watching in theaters? Do you think this would have worked really good on the big screen with all of the sandstorms and everything?
I think it would look pretty good. Yeah, it's a pretty impressive looking movie. I don't think it's required because it's pretty small scope.
Yeah.
But it would look cool on the big screen. I don't think it's a requirement, though.
Okay, so that is our spoiler review of Gold. Again, me, Eric Holmes, and Bruce Perky, we commandeer the weekly podcast Find Your Film. You can catch our podcast on pretty much every single podcatcher you can think of: Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Spotify, everything, Stitcher, everything. And also, they also join the Cinematics universe every first week of the month. That is it. Tell us again, most importantly, tell us what you think of Gold, directed and co-written by Anthony Hayes and headlined by Zac Efron. We'll see you guys next time.